Auburn University's spring commencement ceremony will begin in 5 minutes. Please rise for the commencement processional.
Auburn University's Spring 2015 Commencement Ceremony. We will begin our ceremony with the presentation of the colors. I ask that all gentlemen please remove your headdress for the presentation of colors, and during the national anthem, please remain standing. March on the colors. Mason Charles, who graduates today with a degree in vocal music education, will lead us in singing our national anthem. He will be accompanied by the Auburn University Graduation Band, conducted by Dr. Rick Good, Director of Bands.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Retire the colors. Please be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce Auburn University's President, Dr. Jay Gouge.
Thank you. This is certainly a great day in the life of Auburn University. It's a great day in each of your lives, and I feel honored to be able to share it with you today. I want to formally welcome you to the Spring 2015 Commencement Ceremony. I'm going to introduce a number of people on the platform. I'll ask them to remain standing. We will not introduce them all. Some will be introduced later in the program. So I want to let me start with Mr. Mike Demaribus, Auburn University Board of Trustees, Dr. Tim Businger, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Ms. Gretchen Van Valkenburg. Ms. Valkenburg is here for the first time as a Vice President for Alumni Affairs. And so, Gretchen, we're delighted to have you with us today. Ms. Jane DeFalco Parker, Vice President for Development, Dr. John Mason, Vice President for Research and Economic Development, Dr. Bobby Woodard, Vice President for Student Affairs, Mr. Bo Bird, Vice President of the Auburn Alumni Association, Ms. Michelle McKenna Doyle, she's the Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer for the National Football League. She's an Auburn alumni, and she'll be speaker today at our graduation ceremony. Ms. Bonnie McEwen, Dean of the Libraries, Dr. George Crandall, Associate Dean of the Graduate School. Dr. Susan Valloom, she is the Master of Ceremonies and serves as the Associate Dean and Professor of Reading in the College of Education. Dr. Pamela Ulrich, Graduation Marshal and the Under Armour Professor in the Department of Consumer and Design Sciences. Dr. Patricia Duffy, Chair of the University Senate. Lieutenant Colonel Copeland, Commanding Officer of Army ROTC. Captain Paul Esposito, Captain in charge of Navy ROTC. Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Hemis, Air Force ROTC. This is Colonel Hemis's last ceremony here at Auburn as the commander of our Air Force ROTC unit. He'll be moving to the Air Force Space Command in Colorado Springs. We certainly want to thank you for your dedication and your service to us and to our country. Mr. Rick Smith, graduation reader and a lecturer within the School of Communications and Journalism. Mr. Steve Geis, speech interpretive specialist for students with disabilities. Let's have a round of applause for all these individuals. Thank you. Thank you. Faculty are at the very heart of any great university, and certainly that's true at Auburn. I would ask representatives of the faculty to please stand where we can say thank you for the job well done. Faculty, please rise. Thank you. I would like all candidates for graduation to please rise. Woo. Candidates, I would ask you to say thank you to all those that helped you make today possible. Please be seated. To our graduates, we're very, very proud of you. We value your determination, your sacrifice, your discipline, your intelligence, and that special Auburn spirit. You've earned a degree that will be valuable to you both professionally and personally. Today you'll be joining a special group of the family of Auburn, and since our beginnings in 1856, we have awarded nearly 300,000 degrees. Today we award 3,780 degrees at the doctoral, master's, and baccalaureate level. Congratulations to our graduate, More Eagle.
We are very honored to have Michelle McKenna-Doyle with us today to deliver our commencement address. Ms. McKenna-Doyle is an Enterprise, Alabama native who came to Auburn with a love of football. She graduated from Auburn University in 1987 with a degree in accounting and began a 13-year career at the Walt Disney Company and Walt Disney World in 1993, eventually becoming Vice President of Information Technology in 2004. While working her way up the ladder at Disney, she also earned an MBA in Marketing and Finance from Rollins College in 1995. After serving as the Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer for Syntex Destination Properties, Ms. McKenna-Doyle returned to the world of theme parks, serving as the Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer for Universal Orlando Resort. At Universal, she was part of the leadership team responsible for the design and launch of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter theme park. Following her time at Universal, Ms. McKenna-Doyle became the Chief Information Officer at Constellation Energy in Baltimore, Maryland. Then, in 2012, she became the Chief Information Officer for the National Football League, combining her years of hard work and business savvy with her love of football. She is responsible for her league's technology strategy and implementation, and her influence is seen anywhere from tablets on the sidelines to entire Wi-Fi networks in NFL stadiums. With each technological innovation, she is changing how the game is played and enjoyed by fans. Please join me in welcoming Michelle McKenna-Doyle back to Auburn.
Wow, thank you so much. Board of Trustees, Dr. Gouge, faculty, family, and you, our graduating seniors. Thank you for asking me to be here with you on this very special day. I am truly humbled and honored. I admit that when I sat in your seat a very long time ago as Michelle Robinette, I was a big dreamer. I wanted big things, but I'm pretty sure the dream never included me standing here addressing you. So needless to say, I'm very honored. But thinking about what to say to you today was a soul-searching exercise for me. What could I possibly say to you that you haven't already heard from the great teachers, mentors, and coaches of your life? What would leave a lasting impression? Initially, I started out by listening online to other famous commencement speakers and got a little intimidated. And then I started talking to family and friends, including my own college-age son, around what kind of things would you like to hear? Eventually, I even asked for some professional help. Ultimately, I ended up doing it my way. So hopefully you'll enjoy today as much as I am. Today, I'd like to share some thoughts about three things: remembering your past, always relishing your future, and keeping your eyes firmly pointed north. Referring to the north here, not in a geographical sense, of course, as my true forever home is rooted right here in the South. Before we talk about our past, let us take a moment to be very present, here and now. I know all types of thoughts are running through your minds as you sit there waiting for this process to be over. And you're most likely feeling a mixture of emotions: excitement, worry, melancholy, or maybe even boredom. To the one who was just yawning. I'm pretty sure when I was here sitting in your chair 28 years ago, I was actually thinking about how bad the traffic was going to be on 280 to Birmingham. If I didn't get out of here as soon as possible, the moving truck was already parked and I needed to get out of here. But even with all those things and to-do list in your mind, let's pause for just a moment and allow yourselves to be very present today and very connected to one another and to this special place. If you're comfortable doing so, please close your eyes and take the hand of the person next to you. This is your Auburn family. And while we'll always be part of you, this is the last moment that we'll be together exactly like we are right now. Think about the people you are connected to. Remember your accomplishments and feel the pride you so deserve. There are moments in life where you must truly stop to smell the roses, and this is one of those moments. Okay, you can open your eyes. That was just so I could read and you don't have to see me reading. But don't worry, I'm not going to have us do yoga or any other breathing exercise, but I just wanted to illustrate the importance of today and the importance of feeling connected to your present. Because life has a way of dragging you into the past or propelling you so fast into the future. Please remember to always be present. If you aren't, you may miss the joy, the pain, and the growth of becoming your true self. My past has been an amazing journey that began 50 years ago this month. It started on Rural Route 1 in Enterprise, Alabama, where blacktop roads crisscrossed with red dirt ones, where we shared a party phone line with my aunt and my grandparents. And college, or even the thought of going to college, was a million miles away, as no one in my family had attended college before. My world was small. But even though it was small, I was an extremely curious kid. I loved to read and I loved to learn. And those dreams brought me to Auburn. I'm often asked what exactly brought me to Auburn to study. Well, for that awesome decision, I have perhaps the best college athletics recruiter of all time to thank for that, Coach Pat Dye. Woo! Coach Dye Coach Dye was recruiting my brother to play college football at the time, and Auburn grabbed my heart. You see, I come from a Bama family. So it was going against the tide, as you see, when I decided to attend Auburn. And while my brother did ultimately play at Alabama, Coach Dye ended up coaching the only Robinette to make it to the NFL, me. While here at Auburn, I did work in athletics, and I dreamed of a way to combine my passion with sport and football with my career. Well, it took me a little while to get to the NFL, but that foundation was laid right here at Auburn under the watchful eye of Coach Dye and Miss Sue Locklear. They were the first to share the Auburn Creed with me. It has guided me throughout my life and has stood the test of time, and it bears significance on my remarks today. I believe that this is a practical world that I can count on. I only count on what I can earn. Therefore, I believe in work, hard work. I believe in education, which gives me the knowledge to work wisely and trains my mind and my hands to work skillfully. I believe in honesty and truthfulness, which without I cannot win the respect and confidence of others. I believe in a sound mind and in a sound body and in a spirit that is not afraid, and in clean sports that develops these qualities. I believe in obedience to law because it protects the rights of all, and I believe in the human touch, which cultivates sympathy with fellow man and a mutual helpfulness that brings happiness. I believe in my country because it's the land of freedom and because it is my own home, and I can best serve it by doing justly, loving mercifully, and walking humbly with my God. And because Auburn men and women believe in these things, I believe in Auburn and love it. Many things have changed since George Peachey wrote this in 1945. But one thing has not changed, and that is that Auburn University is a special place, and that the students and the moms and dads that choose to send your kids to this great place is very special, and I am honored to be one of you. So your past will form you, and what you've experienced in this special place will be part of that past, one to be honored, cherished, and hopefully shared with the world around you. Every triumph, every failure, every love and heartbreak will form you. Embrace your past, but don't live in it. Acknowledge that while these experiences will help shape you, they do not define you. Your road to fulfillment will be a long and winding one. You may be sitting here today with your first job all lined up, or you know your passion and you're ready to run and chase that dream. But some of you are still figuring it out. But the one thing you all share in common is that no matter what you're thinking today, is it will change. It will change and evolve, and you grow with it. Be open to that change, and ultimately you'll find your path to your own true north. Finding mine took time, but when I finally locked in on it, I realized it had been there all along, guiding me. Charting your future will begin with you knowing exactly what you want in life, and that will take time. In times, it can be very specific, and in others, very general. For me, I know I'm on the right path if I can say yes to the following things. I am being a kind and caring person. I am being a good mother, sister, daughter, wife, and friend. I believe in a caring and forgiving God, and I'm always trying to find new challenges to expand my mind in new ways. I'll say I've not always been pointed true north. There have been times when I have strayed from that path, had failures and experiences that have shaped me. But these guideposts keep me on the path, and when I'm not answering yes to those, that's when I know I need to make a change. You won't know your goals exactly today always, and they'll change over time. But take a moment to reflect today as you pack up and move on from this wonderful place to think about what you want. This can't come from someone else. It must come from inside you by knowing yourself. To quote the great Frank Sinatra in his song, My Way, "For what is a man, what has he got? If not himself, then he has not." Go find your way, find your true self. Godspeed, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Ms. McKenna-Doyle, for those inspiring remarks. It is now my pleasure to recognize several groups of students who are graduating with academic honors. First, I would like to recognize those undergraduates who are graduating with honors based on their cumulative GPA, grade point average. Students with a grade point average between 3.4 and 3.59 graduate cum laude. I ask all of the cum laude degree candidates to please stand and be recognized. Please be seated. Students with a grade point average of 3.6 to 3.79 graduate magna cum laude. Would all of the magna cum laude degree candidates please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. Students with a grade point average of 3.8 and above graduate summa cum laude. Would all of the summa cum laude degree candidates please rise? Please be seated. 1979 marked the beginning of the honors program at Auburn University. In 1998, the program became the Honors College. Honors College students graduate either with the distinction of University Honors Scholar or Honors Scholar. Would all of those who have earned the distinction of University Honors Scholar or Honors Scholar please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. Phi Kappa Phi is Auburn's highest all-discipline academic honorary, and members represent the top 10% of their colleges and schools. I now recognize those initiated into Phi Kappa Phi. Would you please stand? Please be seated. I would now like to recognize those degree candidates in the arts and sciences who have been inducted into Phi Beta Kappa. Would all members of Phi Beta Kappa please stand and be recognized? Thank you. I would also like to recognize our military service members. Would those degree candidates who were recently commissioned into the military services please stand and be recognized? Please remain standing. I now ask that all active duty military and veterans in the arena to please stand and be recognized. Thank you all for your service to our country. We begin the awarding of the degrees with the honorary degree, Doctor of Science, honoris causa. One of the highest honors that can be bestowed upon an individual by Auburn University is the conferring of an honorary degree. This is underscored by the fact that since 1856, Auburn University has awarded only 155 honorary degrees. The honorary degree is Auburn's method of recognizing a few very special individuals who have brought honor to themselves, their communities, their profession, their alma mater, and their nation. In April of 2015, the Board of Trustees at Auburn University authorized the awarding of an honorary degree to John A. Oakberg. Nicholas Giordano, Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics, will now introduce Mr. Oakberg.
John A. Oakberg received his Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics at Auburn University in 1969. He began his career working at Union Carbide Corporation's nuclear division in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. While working at Union Carbide, he started graduate school at the University of Tennessee, where he obtained a master's degree in computer science. He subsequently joined the staff of the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, in Vienna, Austria, in their Department of Safeguards, working in that capacity in 1977 and 78, and then again from 1982 until his retirement in 2007. A primary role of the IAEA is to deter the proliferation of nuclear weapons. Mr. Oakberg was responsible for the development and operation of systems used to meet the nuclear materials information analysis and accounting requirements of the IAEA. Over the years, working in the area of nuclear safeguard, his responsibilities expanded, and he took part in inspections of nuclear facilities around the world and was assigned problem-solving missions that required his technical knowledge. In 2005, the Nobel Peace Prize was shared between the Director General of the IAEA, Mohammed El-Baradei, and his senior staff, of which John Oakberg was a member. The Nobel citation reads, "For their efforts to prevent nuclear energy from being used for military purposes and to ensure that nuclear energy for peaceful purposes is used in the safest possible way." Mr. Oakberg's work with the IAEA covered more than a 25-year span. After his retirement from that agency in 2007, he's continued working as a nuclear safeguards information consultant. Dr. Oakberg, we are honored to confer upon you the honorary degree, Doctor of Science. Would Mr. Demaribus, Dr. Gouge, George Flowers, Dean of the Graduate School, and Dr. Oakberg please come forward for the hooding? We're here, okay. Okay. I'll get out of the way.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as a member of the Board of Trustees of Auburn University, I do now confer upon you the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa, to which you are entitled, together with all the rights, privileges, and obligations thereunto pertaining.
Wow. I wish to thank the Auburn trustees, President Gouge, Provost Bosinger, Dean Giordano, former Dean Schneller, the College of Science and Mathematics, for this degree. I am, excuse me, I'm very deeply honored to accept it, and I still remain overwhelmed. As a side note, for those people who know me, and I told them I had 2 minutes to speak, no one figured I'd be able to do it. But going back, it was Auburn, mathematics, one elective course in computer programming, I think it was the only one offered in 1969, that began it all. But in addition to the academics, it was Auburn that, through advisors and through the professors, who actually led me to make the final decision to major in mathematics in the first place. But that math degree, plus the programming, the one single programming course, as Dean Giordano mentioned, led me to work in the U.S. nuclear industry. And through that, I made contact with and was employed by the International Atomic Energy Agency, which is in Vienna, Austria, and I stayed there for a total of 26 years on 2 assignments. We had many exciting moments during that work with a lot of international travel, a lot of events that happened, a couple of Gulf Wars. You can think yourself of the countries that are involved right now in nuclear issues that the world is facing. But among all of that, and all of the travels and the interesting events that happened, there's no question the highlight of it all was the receipt to the staff of the IAEA of the 2005 Nobel Peace Prize. It was honored to share receipt of it with all of the staff members, but it is likewise an honor for me personally to associate that prestigious award with Auburn University. There's another Auburn graduate, also from the class of 1969, who shares with me the recognition that goes along with the Nobel Prize and this honorary doctorate, and that's my wife, Linda. She was involved in all aspects of 26 years of living overseas, all the good and the challenging things that happened. And she was there all the time, and we did it together. So in closing, and I think I've made my 2-minute limit, just as amazing as it was to share in the Nobel Peace Prize, it is also just as an amazing moment to receive this honorary degree. Thank you, Auburn.
Thank you, Dr. Oakberg, for those inspiring remarks, for your dedication to Auburn University, and for your contributions in making this world a safer place. Thank you. Now for the conferral of the doctorate degree. Would Dean George Flowers of the Graduate School please come forward?
Would Dana M. Griggs please stand? On behalf of the faculty in the Graduate School, I would like to introduce our Student Marshal, Dana M. Griggs, who is receiving a Doctorate of Philosophy in Administrative Elementary Secondary Education. Dana is from Dothan, Alabama. Would all the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy please rise? Trustee Demaribus, President Googe, and Provost Businger, on behalf of the graduate faculty, it is my pleasure to present these degree candidates for the conferral of their degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as a member of the Board of Trustees of Auburn University, I do now confer upon each of you the doctor's degree to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges, and obligations thereunto pertaining. Congratulations. Please be seated.
Part of the tradition associated with the awarding of this degree is a special ceremony involving the presentation of a doctoral hood. Would the major professors of the doctoral candidates please escort your graduate to the stage to be hooded as Professor Smith calls their name. Members of the Registrar's Office will direct you to the stage.
Dr. Dana M. Griggs, Major Professor, Dr. Francis Cochan. Dr. Amy Lynn Wise, Major Professor, Dr. Cochan. Dr. Bethany Carden Cleveland, Major Professor, Dr. James Woody. Dr. Keisha James, Major Professor Dr. Whitty. Dr. Alfred Parham, Major Professor Dr. James Kaminsky. Dr. Aaron Lee Modick, Major Professor Dr. Sarit Dahar. Dr. Simon Gathiaka, Major Professor Dr. Orlando Acevedo. Dr. John William Fox, Major Professor Dr. Wendy Weimer. Dr. Hillary Ann Plummer, Major Professor Dr. Gretchen Oliver. Dr. QB Merritt Bradford, Major Professor Dr. Kiara Andruski. Dr. Laura M. Smith, Major Professor Dr. Everett Martin. Dr. Scott Renner, Major Professor Dr. Everett Martin. Dr. Paul Joseph Zwack, Major Professor Dr. Aaron Rashat. Dr. John Jason Morgan, Major Professor Dr. Brian Parr. Dr. Deborah J. Taswell, Major Professor Dr. Rebecca Curtis. Dr. Bryce Merlin Nagalifak, Major Professor Dr. Ashiver Abibi. Dr. Christopher Garrett Ballman, Major Professor Dr. John Quindry.